G'day and welcome on board the Boeing 737 BBJ. Believe it or not, I used to fly these things in real life many years ago, so when I saw that PMDG released this study level 737 model for Microsoft Flight Sim, I thought I'd jump in one and see if I still have any idea at all how to fly it. I guess in the meantime I've flown lots of other flight sims and aircraft types, but not anything really with the level of detail like this has. So really I want to see if I still know the more fiddly stuff, like programming the FMC, using LNAV, VNAV, all that kind of stuff. And what better way to test all that than to fly this thing over to New Zealand and attempt an RNAV RNP curved approach through the mountainous areas around Queenstown and land at the airport there. So here's the RNAV RNP approach for runway 23 at Queenstown. It's a nice curvy, meandering path that weaves through some high mountain ranges and lines you up onto a relatively short and narrow runway. Normal precision approaches like ILS or GLS aren't available at airports like this due to the terrain, and one of these RNAV RNP approaches can get the aircraft much closer to the airfield than a regular non-precision RNAV or VRR approach otherwise could. So this means more aircraft can get below the weather and land at the airport during the poorer weather in the winter skiing season months when all that damn green and gold turns up. Because, let's face it, Aussie skiing fields are sand, and no amount of pretending will ever change that. So we all flock to Middle Earth in the winter. Anyway, so my aim here won't be to go in all of the regulatory type details about this approach or even flying it in general, but instead I'll try and simulate, I guess, every washed up pilot's dream come true, being a passenger on an airliner and a call comes over the PA.
Is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
I can fly. I'm pilot.
And I think to myself, this is my chance, this is my time to shine. Alright, well, autopilot is on, things seem stable at 22,000 feet. I just started this flight from an airborne position, so the FMC hasn't been programmed with anything, so I think I'll do that first. Now, whenever the FMC is empty, there's a phrase I was taught years ago which reminds you where to start, and it's always start the day with a root. So, we'll go to page 1 of 2, enter NZQN. No need to enter it twice, just line selected from the scratch pad when you enter it in the from field. So Queenstown to Queenstown, call sign Envoy 10, LRUV 4 Bravo star, RNAV Yankee, runway 23 with ATCL transition. Go to the legs page, get rid of the discontinuity, bring LRUV to the top so we can track direct there. Now displaying to plan mode, so let's step through all the waypoints and check them against the approach plate. Actually that's kind of boring, so let's just assume it's all programmed correctly. We'll just check for any discontinuities though. Yeah, it's fine. Let's just activate that. Bring the first waypoint to the top so we have LNAV available, and LNAV is now the roll mode. Nice. Must caution fuel, identify the failure, low pressure in the center tanks, both pumps off. Enter the cruise altitude. And the FMC also doesn't know anything about the aircraft weight and balance yet either, so it needs all of that to calculate all of the vertical nav profiles for us, I think. Flaps 40 approach, wind addition of 5 knots. I think the transition level in New Zealand is flight level 150. Finals course 234. Descent check, this pressurization landing altitude 1150 feet, set recall checked. Water brake max landing data BRF 132, minimum 1875. Approach briefing completed somewhat.
Flight 209er clear for vector 324.
We have clearance, Clarence. Roger, roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Okay, we're all ready to start going down the hill. ATC hasn't given us a descent clearance though, and we're getting close to top of descent here.
Envoy 10 descend and maintain 16,000 feet.
Oh, thank goodness.
Descend and maintain 16,000 feet, Envoy 10.
Wait, a couple of questions. They didn't say descent to 16,000 feet when ready, and I was expecting that, so I have to start descending now. they're going to be annoyed if I don't start this descent soon. I seem to remember some kind of way to start descending early without screwing up my VNav path. It's in here somewhere. Oh, that'd be it. Descend now. I think that gives me 1,000 feet a minute descent to start with until it intercepts the idle descent path. The landing lights on as we go down the hill.
Expedite your descent 16,000 feet.
I am descending, you... Anyway, it looks like we're approaching our idle descent VNav path now, so thrust should retard to idle. Another handy phrase I remember is lights on retard, as in when the thrust goes to retard or to idle, just remember to turn your landing lights on, but I've already got those on. Okay, everything's back as it should be. Oh, forgot about the HUD. How the hell did I use this thing back then?
With no hope for the passengers and crew. The only focus now is on where the plane will come down.
Ah, yes, here's something, but what units was it in? Because I remember whatever the units are you had to enter into the HUD, it was different to everything else, and that was infuriating. So I'm guessing it needs meters. And dim it down a bit, there we go. The HUD's now ready too, I think. 1,000 feet to level off. Still no further descent instructions from ATC, and I'm about to start ignoring them, I think. I was kind of hoping to keep my VNav descent path unmolested, so it's a nice looking approach.
Queenstown Airport information.
Oh, yeah, the ATIS is finally in range. Wish this thing had ACARS. And now ATC is talking too. Will you all keep quiet? I'll have to add some drag to get back onto our VNav path here. A bit of speed breakout. TC is not having any of my today. And we're back. Stow the speed brake. Out of the cloud now. Engine start switches can come off. Oh, such a nice countryside down there.
Envoy 10, you are 27 miles northeast. Descend and maintain 6,300 feet. Expect vectors, visual runway, 2-tree approach.
What?
Envoy 10, descend and maintain 6,300 feet.
Alright, sheesh. No, you know what? Our next height limit is 8,600 at QN 780, and I'm going to see if I can change the approach we want to fly
Stand
with
by Envoy
ATC.
10.
Envoy 10, roger.
Crap. Nothing but visual approaches. I'm just going to keep doing this RNP approach and ignore ATC. We'll see what they think about that, huh?
Descend and maintain 6,300 feet. Expect vectors. Visual runway 2-tree approach Envoy 10.
Whilst we're descending, thought I'd hop out of the seat for a second to admire the level of detail that went into this cockpit. First thing that jumps out at me actually is the sheepskin seat covers. Those were so comfy, and they recreated that fuzzy comfy look very well. This cockpit doesn't have the second jump seat behind the captain either. It's only got the fold-out one that blocks the entryway. Because you used to be able to sit here too, and with the 2 jump seats you could actually get 4 people up in here. It certainly became a cockpit. Oh wow, they actually animated that too. I remember during conversion training, if you weren't doing that well in a flight and you were worried about failing, you could lean over and adjust your instructor's rudder pedals to see if that helped. If you're able to visualize that. But anyway, better keep flying, I suppose. So I've just put 3,300 feet into the autopilot as the next altitude limit, which is the final approach fix height on the chart. And I'll just monitor the other altitude restrictions on descent to ensure they're complied with. I mean, I won't, but you guys probably should if you do these in real life. FMC drag required message. I think I'll start throwing some flap out now. I've got to do it eventually and it'll help solve this drag issue.
Envoy 10, descend and maintain 4,500 feet.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Descend and maintain 4,500 feet, Envoy 10.
Gear down, flap 15. Engine start switch is continuous. The speed brake.
Envoy 10, did you hear my last transmission?
I think I'll just start being passive aggressive instead now.
Queenstown
1000 foot to
approach,
level
please
off.
say
I'll
again
set the missed
transmission
approach
for
altitude in
Envoy
a second
10.
here. Don't want the autopilot leveling off again on me at the
Envoy
FAF.
10, climb and maintain 4,500 feet.
Queenstown approach Envoy 10, say again.
Envoy 10, climb and maintain 4,500
Okay, missed approach altitude 10,000 feet is set. Fine, I'll be good.
Climb and maintain 4,500 feet, Envoy 10.
Flaps all the way to 40.
Envoy 10, descend and maintain 3,500 feet.
I love
Descend
the
and
checklist. Here
maintain
we go.
3,500
Landing
feet,
checklist.
Envoy 10.
Oh, we're up to approach checklist. Yeah, altimeter is 29.92 done. Right, landing checklist. Engine start switch is continuous. Speed brake armed. Over there. Landing gear down. Flaps 40. Green light. Landing checklist complete. Move this clicker thingy up to the after takeoff in case we need to do a go around.
Envoy 10, did you hear my last transmission?
Psychology audiobook, Lesson 1. How to deal with annoying people.
Terrain.
What?
Pull
What?
up.
What?
Terrain.
Oh,
Pull
that hill out
up.
there. Yeah.
Terrain.
I
Pull
think I know
up.
how to fix this.
Terrain. Pull up.
That's going to look bad in the air crash investigation episode.
Now there is a frenzy of speculation over the incident. Terrorism is foremost in people's minds.
It'll be fine. Well, this is a really nice airport to fly into, and this approach gets us nicely amongst the valley too. But I'm just trying to work out how far the autopilot will fly us before I absolutely have to take over control and actually do something here. Oh, that's pretty. Well, there's the runway. God, do I even remember how to land this thing? Can ATC not just clear me to land? I guess they probably need to know that first.
Envoy 10, I have the runway in sight.
I better turn the terrain proximity warning back on, I suppose. Now, from what I can make out in the FMC, the autopilot will get me to 1,221 feet or to the runway 23 threshold, whichever is first, so I'll need to take over from the autopilot before then at some point.
Terrain. Pull up.
Right, that's staying off now.
Pull up.
Now I'll just take over the throttle first. Maybe I can still even get a landing clearance.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Tower on 128.9 Envoy 10.
Queenstown Tower.
Yeah, I think I heard landing and cleared in there somewhere. Close enough for me, landing lights on.
Runway 23 approach.
Cleared visual runway.
Disconnecting autopilot. Whoa. Oh. Jesus.
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Whoa, whoa, keep it straight.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the aircraft has come to a...
Everything's fine, everyone. And just lower the speed brake, auto brake disarm. Good. And I don't know how, but we're alive. Might as well contact ground. Maybe they'll be more useful than approach and tower just were.
Queenstown Ground Envoy 10 taxi to parking.
Envoy 10 taxi to
Auto
general
brake
aviation
off,
parking. Please
flaps
taxiway
all the
Alpha
way to
Tree.
up.
Taxiing to general aviation parking.
Should probably
via taxiway
stop
Alpha
and do
Tree
the rest of
Envoy
this
10.
flow. Start switches off, APU on, landing lights off. Come on. Weather radars off, terrain off. Yep. And hopefully for the last time, the terrain proximity switch back on and guarded. And I think that's everything. Well, that wasn't so bad. It's just like riding a bike. Oh, is he for us? No. No, he's just cavorting around the tarmac there. This spot here will do, I think. Oh, gentle on the brakes. Oh. Parking brake on. And I think we use the APU to power the electrical systems now. And we can shut these engines down. I've got to do all the first officer flows and admin here too, don't I? Those are off. Yeah, those off. God, is that right? Isolation valve to open. I do love how they even simulated the sound of the flow of air into the cockpit as you switch over the bleed air and aircon packs, etc. It's so immersive. I think that's everything before I hand it over to the ground crew. Let's go open the doors and deploy the air stairs. Oh, the transponder. Well, that was really impressive. The LNAV and VNAV seemed to be spot on. It calculated everything, including the decel points, height restrictions, and also an achievable descent path. And the FMC is spot on too, with all of its quirks and shortcuts. And best part of all was that I managed to remember just enough to keep myself alive. So maybe for the next one I'll see if I can deal with emergencies like engine failures or emergency descents or something. Anyway, thanks for watching.